Hi guys, so I'm here with Steve and we're back at the hotel from yet another day at Eurogamer. We've had plenty of hands-on with Battlefield 4, and so we're going to give you a bit of a hands-on discussion and a little bit of a review, because we're going to give our kind of score out of 10 individually of what we think of the game. So I'm just going to start off on just giving you an idea of what we've done and what we've seen with Battlefield 4. So we queued up to play the game, and it was running on Xbox One, so we got to use that controller as well and sort of get a feel for that. It was a 15-minute play time, the 15-minute match that you played, and we played on a game mode which is a new game mode, and I believe it was called
Blitz.
No, that's called.
Oh, that's
no. It's called. I'm pretty sure it's called Annihilation or something along that kind of line. Basically, you had multiple bomb locations, and you had to basically. It's pretty much, yeah. You had to plant the bomb in the base, and then you had to. It's a little bit like when you've got I think it's Conquest. It's a bit like that, where you have to capture all the flags, and then you move further down the map. But instead of flags, it's got bombs, and you have to plant that in each base, and then once you've blown up those, you move further down the map. The first thing I want to start off by saying is, I don't know if it was the Turtle Beach headsets we were using, or if it was a certain setting they'd put on the game, but the sound, I'm pretty sure you'd agree, the sound absolutely incredible. Pretty much everything, ranging from the gun sounds to the just running across in forests. You really do feel like you're involved in the game and the environment around you. Sort of crawling through the grass, it makes noises. If you brush past trees, all of that noise is picked up, and it sounds even better on a Turtle Beach headset. It was really good, the sound, but the sound wasn't the greatest thing, obviously. That was just a bonus. The main thing is the sheer customization of what is in this game. Steve, do you want to sort of say what kind of stuff you saw in the customization?
Okay, so I kind of didn't do as much in depth as Matt did. Matt was looking all through the customizations, but what I did find is that I think Matt will agree, because Matt looks more than what I did. But the range of knives, you had a Bowie knife, you had is it a hatchet?
So you had there's like 8 different knives. You had they had a standard combat knife you get in most in Battlefield games, and you get in pretty much every game. There was other ones. I'm trying to remember the top of my head. There was a Bowie knife, machete. Some blades were longer and shorter than others, so some gave a bit more range and some were a bit more shorter, so I think they were a bit more faster in terms of how quickly you could attack with them. I'm pretty sure in terms of the knives you pick, it's not just aesthetics that you're looking at, it also affects the gameplay and how the knives respond. The other thing was the camouflage. There's different types of camouflage. You can get stuff that looks fancy and bright and colourful to really show off, like, yeah, look how nice my gun looks. But they've also included adaptive camouflage, which basically is camouflage which you can use depending on the map. If it was a snowy map, I could go onto the create a soldier area, customise my soldier, and go change my camouflage in game, and just say, oh, it's a snowy map, I didn't expect this. Go to adaptive camouflage and use the snow camouflage so that I blend in better as a soldier. That's something that you can do. There's also long range and close range and medium range sights for the guns, and with each sight you can change the projectile on the kind of how much it magnifies. That's another thing you can do. And there's also loads of different attachments, so you can get fore grips, vertical grips. Stocks for the back of the gun to improve the handling of the gun and the accuracy.
There's so much more compared to Battlefield 3, and they've smoothed a lot of the stuff out. I mean, I will admit that when you do fire the guns, they do feel very kind of in real life. It's not like, for instance, like Call of Duty, where you can spray and pray. You have to use precision, and I would say it's a kind of a little bit of skill, with Battlefield 3, and you have to work as a team to be able to win the objectives.
Yeah, but I'd say with more of the customization, so it's very, even though there is all this stuff thrown at you and so much you can do, it's broken down into very simple categories. For the guns, you have got just 4 categories, but within each category you've got a long list of guns. I'm pretty sure for the assault rifles there was around 20 guns that I could see on there. There's carbines, so there's assault, carbine, DMR, and then there's the shotguns. Now the shotguns, there's not as many of them, but assault rifles the majority. The DMR rifles are the ones that I played around with the most, which are kind of the DMR rifles are pretty much the same as COD Ghost's new introduction of the marksman rifle. They're single shot guns that do a lot of damage, are very accurate, but the fire rate, you have to be accurate to get the kill, and it does a lot of damage. But if you're not very accurate, the fire rate is going to make you suffer because you're not that kind of player. For me, I use DMR rifles and they're very good. So I would say there was definitely over at least 40 guns, probably 30 or 40 guns that you could choose from.
I use mainly the assault kind of package, the assault guns, and from what I can see in there, it's about 15, maybe more than that, what I counted. Very, very good guns. You could stick suppressors on it and stocks and all that stuff. I really did enjoy Battlefield 4. I kind of feel that it's the same principles as Battlefield 3, which is good, but they've smoothed out a lot of stuff. I don't know about yourself.
Well, I think with speaking, because we spoke with one of the people that works for EA very shortly about the game whilst we were waiting to play the game, and we were queued up. We were talking to one of the guys from EA, and he was basically telling us, one of the things that he told me was that basically if you love Battlefield 3, then you'll love Battlefield 4, but if you had reservations about Battlefield 3 and you weren't too sure about it, those things have been patched up. One of the things that they have apparently improved a lot more on is the destructible environment. So there's a lot more this time round. It's not like just a building simply collapses. One of the examples that this guy from EA used was that you could use the destruction of an environment to your advantage. So what you could do is you could use a launcher to blow up. Maybe there's a building that's it falls apart in a certain way. You blow it up, and the rubble will because the rubble falls down, it basically forms a ladder for you to get up upon that roof of that building. And then if you've got a sniper, so you could destroy that with a launcher, pick up a sniper, go up the rubble to get to the top of that building, which you couldn't do before until you destroyed the building a bit, and then you can lay down some fire from there. So you kind of use the destruction of environment to your advantage. There was one problem, one negative thing I have to say about Battlefield. I don't know if you drove any vehicles. I drove the quad bike, and even the guy we spoke to from EA said that he didn't like this. So it kind of confuses me why it's there, but he hasn't got complete control over the game. But
is that the horn thing?
No. It's the handling of the vehicle. So when you drive the vehicle, you have to use the left. You can't use right trigger to accelerate, like RT or R2 to accelerate. Now you use the left analog stick to go forward, but you also have to use the left analog stick to steer left and right.
Oh wow!
So the problem is that I was not very good at controlling this quad bike because I thought I could turn left and right with the right analog stick.
Oh, so you were turning and accelerating.
So like you could think normally any gamer would think, okay, so the left analog stick would be accelerate and brake, like
forward and back,
and then on the right analog stick
would be your steering.
That is all combined into the left analog stick. So when you drive a vehicle forward, you have to kind of keep it forward, but if you're going to turn left, you have to kind of keep it left and forward at the same time.
That's going to be quite difficult.
And so if you turn to the left too much and you're not pushing forward anymore,
your
car stops, but your wheels turn to the left.
Yeah.
Driving vehicles on the ground, I don't know about in the air and jets. I didn't get a chance to fly. Well, no one had the opportunity to fly jets. Some people fly in helicopters, but I didn't really see one.
I drove an ATV, but the only thing I found, I was driving with the horn on.
Oh.
Maybe it was because the Xbox One controller, because I'm a PS3 kind of guy. Maybe it was just because of the controls, and I didn't really know.
But I was customizing loads for like half of the time we were playing, looking at all the different stuff for you guys, and seeing what kind of guns they had, etc. So I wanted to get back quickly into the battlefield after customizing. The problem with that is that I just pressed deploy straight away, so it would send me right back at the spawn area at the beginning of the deployment bit. So I was like, right, I need a ride, and there's nothing nearby. And then I pressed the R1 button, not R1 but RB because it's on the Xbox controller, and when I was holding that down, you have this list of commands on a wheel, and basically you have different command orders you can shout out. So you can say to someone, you hold down the RB button and point with left analog stick to maybe one over here that says I need ammo, and then basically what will happen if you say you need ammo, on everybody's map in your team there will be a flashing icon where your character is. So wherever you are in the map, there'll be a flashing ammo icon where your player is. So all the other players in your team can see this guy needs ammo. So that's something I haven't seen before in Battlefield, is these flashing icons when you
No, I've never seen that.
And so each time I was calling for a ride, and this little vehicle icon would pop up and flash, saying I need a ride, and no one ever picked me up. I know one guy did pick me up in a quad bike, but because of the handler he wasn't very good either. But yeah, so I think overall it's a great game. It's shaping up to be a great game, and it's obviously still in development, so there's still a lot to patch up, a lot to do in terms of adding to the game and developing the game until release. I think we should give our
one thing about Battlefield though, what I like about it, it's not like every year with COD they bring a new Battlefield out, so you've got like 3 or 4 years of Battlefield 4, so they want to make sure that this is going to be actually brilliant. But anyway, let's get and give our overall review. We'll
give our final scores. I'll start with me. So obviously this is out of 10, what we're going to give it. And this is only based on what we've played so far, and this is obviously, you need to remember, Battlefield 4 is not a finished product yet, and we're purely judging it upon our experience of playing it and watching others play it, and what we've seen at Eurogamer, and that's purely what this is based on. It's based on nothing else other than that. So I would give this game so far, I'm not going to give it a perfect score because of the vehicle handling being messed up a little bit, and but I did like a lot of the features and the sound and graphics and gameplay itself. They ticked all the boxes, so I'm probably going to give it I'm going to say 9.4 out of 10 for now. If there's a way to change the way the vehicle handles, and if that can be sorted, then I'd happily bump that up to a 9.6 out of 10.
Okay, my score. We played it for 15 minutes, didn't we?
Yeah,
so we had a 15-minute match. I love Battlefield 3. I actually loved it. And Battlefield 4 got to play it for 15 minutes. My score for this, you might think it's a little bit low. I'm not going to give it a perfect score. Matt's was 9.4. I'm going to rank this in at a 7. And the reason why I'm going to rank it in at a 7 is because I didn't like a few things about the actual game. But it is still an alpha, like Matt said. So I'm going to rank it in at a 7. It can change when the game comes out, but overall my score will be a 7 out of 10.
Okay, so you've heard that from us, and you've heard what we have to say about the game. If you agree with our points from what you've seen, maybe you went to Eurogamer and you played it for yourself, or maybe you've just seen some footage. Either way, if you either agree or disagree with our points, we'd love to know from you, as it just helps us get an idea of what everyone else is thinking, what's going on in their minds. So if you've got something to say, drop it in the comments, and if you like this video, obviously drop us a like. That's been me and Steve for our Battlefield 4 discussion.